Happy Easter, or for other of us, Happy Zombie Jesus Day. This is our Nerdist panel. We've got some folks here from the various Nerdist enterprises, and we're going to answer questions and generally screw around on a Sunday afternoon at 12 noon, and then we'll ask some questions. So I'll probably leave, like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes for questions near the end, so if you have those questions, great. And if you're just squatting for later panels, that's fine. It's okay that you're here. There's plenty of room. So I'm going to start. I'm going to show you a quick sizzle reel of stuff that is all the Nerdist stuff that we're working on, if you're not familiar with it, and if you are, then take a 2-minute nap. All right, roll the thing. Welcome our first cast member, Jessica Chobot from Nerdist News. Who any second will be bounding from backstage. Jessica Chobot! Also, our recently promoted editor-in-chief of Nerdist, Nerdist.com, Nerdist News as well, Brian Walton is also here. Along with another one of our fun contributors and on-camera talent, Mr. Dan Casey. Our newly appointed gaming editor, Malik Forte. Creators of the Thrilling Adventure Hour, and one of them hosts Nerdist Writers Panel, Ben Acker and Ben Blacker. And from DIY Mammoth, Jocelyn Hughes. All right. Good. Welcome, panel. It's nice to see you guys.
Thank you, Chris.
How was your Nerdist News panel yesterday? I should have been there, but we were at Disneyland.
We actually, oh.
I know. We're manual passes, so this is a perfect excuse to come down and hang out at the Kingdom.
It was a pleasant surprise. I mean, being that it was the first one and that we just started Nerdist News, we weren't expecting nearly as many people as we got in, and we were all very, very happy with the turnout and stoked to see everybody and get their feedback.
So one of the things that I've been feverishly trying to do is, G4 was such a great idea, like Attack and X-Play and then sometimes Web Soup. But you suck Hardwick, Tosh totally blah blah blah. What? No, Web Soup's not forever, it's dead. It died. We should have recorded a fail video of Web Soup, like failing on a skateboard, and then we could have put it on Web Soup. But G4, one of the things that it had working against us, the soul of it was really great, but what we had working against us was there was this massive television infrastructure that sort of crushed the weight of G4, and there was always this need to make more money. So it wasn't really anyone's fault that G4 worked, but it didn't work, but it was just sort of a weird platform for it. So I've been feverishly trying to recreate the soul of that. So I brought Jessica Chobot on, and then if you kind of look around at who works for Nerdist, you'd see like Mike Shaw, who's a segment producer at Attack of the Show, who now works on Nerdist News, Jerry Duggan, Deadpool writer, who also worked on Attack of the Show. So we've just been trying to reassemble that, what I felt was really a wonderful super team together. Are you feeling that in some way?
I'm feeling pretty super and teamish. Yeah, no, I mean, we definitely all, it's nice to walk into the office. It's always scary when you start a new job for the first time. And so it was really nice to walk into the office and have some familiar faces, and then find out that everybody else that was there that I didn't know were excellent, amazing people. And I think you've done it. I think Nerdist has captured the soul. Like, it's fun to come to work.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad you say that, because Jessica was sort of working part-time for us. We had done 3 days a week of Nerdist News. The plan was we just went to 5 days a week, and so now Jess is going to be working for us full-time. So that is something that we're announcing. She'll be there. Now she has to be there. I mean, you as an audience don't know how many hours she's there at the Nerdist offices, but just know in your hearts now it's like 9 to 5 every day.
I have to see her every day now?
You have to see her every day, Brian. No, she has to see you every day, Brian.
She gets to see me every day.
Whoa, what? Brian Walton is our newly appointed editor-in-chief of Nerdist, and so when I started Nerdist on a TypePad blog in 2008, I guess, and then it sort of grew, and we had more contributors, and then I brought on my friend Perry Simon, and he was sort of running that for a while, and then we expanded out the team, and so anything that you see creatively that happens on it's sort of weird because I'm technically, I'm Nerdist as a person, but then as an entity, there's so many more voices and so much more that I always wanted to expand. So Brian is really the soul of the .com and the editorial voice. You know, it's really kind of been his vision, and he's totally blown it up and expanded. You've done a fantastic job, Brian Walton.
Thank you.
What has the experience been like for you?
Oh, it's like managing all the voices in one Nerdist head.
Yeah.
There's a lot of challenges, a lot of fun. We have a lot of great writers. Dan has been with me. I think we hired you, what, 2 months after I started?
Yeah, shortly thereafter.
Yeah, it's been a blast. And everybody, like, it's been great following Chris because everybody knows Chris and everybody's like, oh, Nerdist. And we get to talking and they're like, yeah, we want to work with you guys.
I know.
It's really fun.
What's exciting to me is I always wanted Nerdist to expand beyond me, and I always wanted to bring in different voices and have people cover different verticals. And it's like we have this performance theater at Meltdown Comics, and every time I go in, there's some new thing that they've added where I'm like, wow, these people are doing that. Like it's so outside anything that I have anything to do with. Sometimes I filled in for Jessica on Nerdist News once, and the first couple comments were like, "Who the F is this guy?" Which I thought was awesome. Where's Jess?
I paid Blair to put that in there.
You did? Well, it was just nice because it just means it's kind of taken on a life of its own. It's like, it's this, you know, I don't have kids. Nerdist is essentially my drooling baby. And so it's nice that it's sort of, now it's kind of a toddler. And you guys are doing a great job blowing it up. I don't mean, that sounded like I meant that it's okay to blow it up. It's not okay to explode children. It's not okay.
I feel like Blair only hosted because he came to drop off Emerson for babysitting.
Oh, should I just jump in front of the camera and host? Dan Casey has been doing a phenomenal job. He has been covering junkets and writing columns for us for, have you guys been here like 2 years now?
Yeah, a little over 2 years.
That's amazing. Great. So what can you tell people about what you're working on and your vision for the future? And I don't know, just say something that sounds really meaningful.
All right, guys. So all you need to know to be happy in life is to go to Nerdist.com on a daily basis. No, we have a lot of cool stuff coming up where I've had a great time filling in for Jess when she's not there, reading your comments about why I'm not Jessica. They're all appreciated. No, but we're expanding our programming. Where Malik and I are working on our Twitch channel, which we're hoping to kick off in a big way when Daylight comes out later this year.
Yeah, that's Trobot's game, Daylight.
Yes, Daylight.
And then you guys are gonna...
April 29th, you should mark it on your calendars. It's gonna be spooky.
Yeah, so we're gonna start doing more stuff on Twitch. We brought on Malik Forte, who had a fantastic YouTube channel, The Zone, and he started contributing on the website.
Thank you, Chris.
Of course. I was watching you. But one of the things that's sort of... One of the things that's sort of fun about this kind of expanding bubble of stuff that we make is that it all interconnects. So my dream was always, maybe we find, like if someone performs at the Nerdist Theater, maybe they start contributing, or maybe we give them a web show, or maybe, like in Malik's case, he started contributing on the .com, and we were like, hey, you should jump in front of the camera for us. And he said, sure. So it really is just about connecting all these pieces. So, anyone can kind of work in any little sector that we're creating, but I always felt like, because I don't have as much, I do play games. I just finished Stick of Truth, which was unbelievable. And I did bring this, if you guys are street passing. I'm gonna have to go through. Why only 10? Why can I only get 10? It's bullshit, Nintendo. So, but I always felt that there was this kind of gaping chasm where I wasn't able to cover games in any kind of effective way, and so Malik, that is your dedicated job now.
And I'm loving it. I'm loving it a lot. Who wouldn't love writing about games and talking about games all day?
Jerks, communists.
True that.
So what was that, sir? Hydra. Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra. No one else can hear me if I'm holding my hand over my face, right? One of my favorite memes right now. So what is your vision for expanding Nerdist gaming, and what do you see, and also what are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited about the next gen. I don't know about you guys, but Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC Master Race, all those. I'm loving it all. But one thing that really drew me to Nerdist in general was the fact that everything's always positive. Chris, you've always just been a positive person about anything that you've talked about. you've come from a positive angle, and that's kind of how I look at things. I go on a lot of like gaming websites, and they're very, very sharp, and you know, there's a lot of negativity out there. So what I'm hoping for is to bring kind of a more, you know, positive and a, you know, a snarky but comedic tone to covering games. You know?
Well, I always, you know, people. It's funny that people could come down on you for being like super upbeat and positive all the time.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times, and this mainly hovers around Reddit sometimes, but this idea that like, oh, well, you're positive about everything, so somehow that makes me not honest or not authentic or whatever. And I always say, look, positive, negative, I could tell you 10 positive things about this or 10 negative things about it. I just choose to focus on positive stuff because there's enough negativity in the world.
Right.
So it just feels like, shut up, just shut up. You just right now. You just stop it. Oh, she's having to sign all that. Please help me. These people are holding me hostage. This is not part of the panel. You're the only ones who can understand me. I beg of you. Thank you. I'm happy to announce that, you know, Nerdist, as I talked earlier about how I was initially, I was on TypePad years ago, and I still, every month I get the, hey, you haven't paid your TypePad bill this month. But then we moved to WordPress, and then ultimately the WordPress platform, the WordPress.org, and it was great for a while, but then we realized this year, you know, there was not really a mobile experience for us. We just sort of had a little plugin that, you know, that you could view it mobile, but it didn't really work that great. So we've done a complete teardown of the Nerdist.com website. We're relaunching it on May 7th, the Wednesday, May 7th. So it'll be a complete mobile experience. We kind of designed mobile first, and then ported that over to the desktop. And so we're gonna do more video, just more extensive. The site will be prettier. It won't look so much like a blog anymore. It'll kind of look like an online magazine, if you will.
It's very pretty.
It's real pretty to look at, you guys. It's real nice.
When I'm stressed, I just like to look at it.
I just look at it. It's like it's so zen. It's like a zen garden. I just like to pet
I'm
it.
right here.
I just like to pet it. I just like to pet the site.
It's going to be much more organized, and you're going to be able to find coverage of, we're going to have Game of Thrones landing pages, and like the stuff that you like, it's going to be much easier to find it. It's like, Chris has been really hands-on with developing it. It really looks good, and I am super excited to get into it and publish to it.
Yeah, I mean, again, just continuing to try to fill this hole where I feel like G4 left. I just don't see anyone that's doing exactly what we do and exactly the way we do it. And so we're just trying to, you know, I want to do more live events. I want to, you know, be at CES. We're going to be doing some stuff at E3. We're obviously doing stuff at San Diego, which I can say we're definitely doing a Nerdist podcast at San Diego Comic-Con again this year. And I'm working on some other stuff for that. It'd be fun if we could do an at midnight there, but I don't know. We're trying to work it out, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure. Oh, we'll see. Boy, my girlfriend hates it. Chloe is here, and I said points to her recently. Like, she said something, we're eating dinner. I said something, I don't remember what it was, but it was something very suggestive in an adult kind of way. And then she was like, well, if you never want to touch me again, you should keep talking like that. And I go, points! And she just like cringed. Like, just goes, don't bring that work shit home. Like that. So it was hard not to go, points! Yeah. Well, I'd say it home. I would also like to introduce Ben Acker and Ben Blacker of the phenomenal Adventure Hour, which we put out as a podcast. But they've been doing the show for years, and I've been fortunate enough to do it a bunch. But if you haven't heard Grilling Adventure Hour, it is one of the most brilliantly written and wonderfully performed. It's essentially a, well, do you want to describe it like a sci-fi serialized radio play? Is that about right?
Yeah, it's an old-time radio show on a new-time podcast. That's what we say. It's a stage show, and we fake old-timiness and radio-ness, so it's actors that you know and love holding scripts in their hand, doing genre stuff and sound effects, the smallest orchestra you've ever seen. And
it's the only place you can get Nathan Fillion still doing a space western.
Yes! Brian's done a few, and Karen Gillan's, and Karen Gillan's done one, and Weird Al, and...
It's been a lot of fun. We get to indulge all of our nerd fantasies, like, who can we put in it this week?
I know. So if you ever get a chance, Thrilling Adventures, they do it at Largo in Los Angeles.
We're also touring quite a bit these days. We're going to be in Chicago on this coming Saturday. We're going to be in New York on May 10th at Town Hall with a crazy cast that includes Dick Cavett.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. Ira Glass. Yeah, it's crazy. Jonathan Colton, it's super fun. And then we're doing a bunch more shows over the course of the year outside of LA.
Excellent. And then Ben Blacker also I mean, what are the odds that Ben Acker and Ben Blacker could find each other? Not only find each other, but then realize, oh, we're the perfect writing team because our names are one letter off. Like, how is that?
Also, never forget that we're the perfect writing team.
No, you're right. You're correct. Me, it's two. It's the BL. I'm sorry, the Blacker and Blacker.
But it's the perfect math team.
But Ben Blacker also does Nerdist Writers Panel for us, which he initially started a couple years ago as a partnership with 826LA, which is
it continues.
Great. Pardon?
It continues.
It continues with 826, which is a really great program for kids and writing and developing writing talent and kind of giving them a place to go and explore creativity and you can actually, if you're in Los Angeles in Echo Park, is the Time Travel Mart still up?
Yes.
There's this place called the Time Travel Mart, and it's a storefront basically for 826LA, which is
it's really fun. Ben actually did some design for
I did some writing for them,
where it has like posters from the future or from the past and like little gifty things. It's a lot of fun.
The tagline is, anywhere you are, we're then.
Yeah, oh, that's so awesome. Well, so Ben also does Nerdist Writers Panel for us, which, as I was saying, is basically anything you kind of wanted to understand about the business of writing and the process of writing, screenwriters, television writers, playwrights, anyone who has, a lot of experience in the story to tell, but I've gone to a couple of these and people show up we do it at the Nerd Melt Theater, people show up with notebooks.
Yeah.
And they take copious notes throughout the process. What's been one that was particularly engaging for you?
Honestly, it's the same kind of thing that Ben and I get out of the Thrilling Adventure Hour with actors I get to do with TV shows that I love. We generally do them about TV writing, and I will say, what show do I love right now? Breaking Bad? Will Vince Gilligan come do this show? Oh, he will? He wants to talk about writing for an hour? And, Vince has been great, but American Horror Story, like any show that you love, we have had, if not the creator, some voice from that show on the Nerdist Writers Panel.
I'm the new Supreme, Ben. I didn't watch the last episode of American Horror Story. Isn't that stupid?
I
watched every episode but the last one.
Well, they kept coming back from the dead. There were no stakes.
No. As soon as I saw Stevie Nicks, I was like, I'm good. It was so funny they had Stevie Nicks, like, what do we do with her? Just make her sing in every scene. Yeah, that's what you do with Stevie Nicks. There happens to be a piano there. Of course, she's a witch. A spoiler. And she's going to sing songs. But, good fucking time. You know what? Hey, wait. Let's talk a minute about this spoiler rage that people are experiencing right now. No, I know, not you. I'm talking about the internet. When someone goes, spoilers, they're basically saying, hey, the rest of the world should bend their will to my viewing schedule. I think you get like a couple weeks. You get a couple weeks. And then after that, if you're not caught up, the rest of us cannot stop the conversations that we would like to have. I remember, literally we talked, on the podcast, we talked about The Godfather, and someone seriously was like, spoilers, like, you've had a lot of time. You've had an extraordinary amount of time. A lifetime.
Not to mention, there's ways to circumvent having things spoiled for you. Like, there's a Chrome plugin right now.
Yeah, silencer on Chrome. Get it, then stop complaining.
Exactly.
Well, so I understand. Look, if it's the day of, right? If it's the day of, maybe try to be a little respectful, even a week out, but within a couple weeks, I sort of feel like if someone hasn't watched it yet, it's not really that much of a priority that they can then go, you ruined this thing! Like, you should watch it faster.
Also, just because you know what's going to happen, it doesn't ruin how interesting that thing is.
Yeah.
I just watched last week's Game of Thrones. You know what? It was still effective.
Still really good, yeah. Like, when Daryl dies in the first episode of Walking Dead that season, you're still going to want to see how it happens.
charge you with inciting a riot, sir.
I know. Well, I would have lunch with Kirk, and I'd be, just because I know how passionate people are about Daryl Dixon, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him up, are you please? Because I'm the first face people see when your show's over. People think it's my fault, and he goes, I'm not stupid. So I think, and hopefully Daryl will be safe for quite a while. His name's Glenn. He's Korean. Oh, I love that scene so much. I want to hug Daryl. Jocelyn Hughes has been doing DIY Damn It for us, which, if you've not seen it, is a phenomenally hilarious show.
Thank you.
Jocelyn is a wonderful writer and comedian, and it was, you did a couple of those for us, and I was like, just do a bunch more, and let's put them all out at once. So
Yeah, that was rad of you.
tell us a little bit about the DIY and why you like your crafty background and then mashing it up with comedy.
I think it's just, you go online and there's all these crafts and they're so perfect looking. And there's like 4 pictures. It's like, here are supplies, and then 4 pictures later, you have like a television. And that's not how it works. So I always get a kick out of reading the comments, and people are like, why doesn't she know what she's doing? It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. So let's all have fun together. We're gonna make the thing.
But you do make stuff.
Yeah, and I used this wrong drill bit, but it said nothing in the I just followed the instructions that I see on the internet. So I got this drill bit, and it was a wood bit and not a metal bit, and I was hysterically laughing because it started smoking. I was like, why is it smoking? I don't know. And everybody in the comments was like, because it's the wrong bit. So it's like, now I know. See how fun this is?
Never underestimate the internet's ability for rage and passion when correcting you on
it's
something.
so great. It's the best.
I almost got sucked in yesterday until I realized what was happening, but there was a grammar Nazi bot on Twitter, but it corrects your grammar wrong, so that you're like, what are you talking about? You start to get worked up. I said something like rather than this, and it corrected me and said then, and I'm like, I don't think that's right. I think you're wrong, Y-O-U-R-E, and then he wrote back and corrected Y-O-U-R. I'm like, okay, he's screwing with me, and this is hilarious. It's a grammar Nazi troll.
Yeah, it's a grammar spiral.
I'm picturing the wrestling match where CM Punk faces the grammar Nazi troll.
Well, not now. Punk's not wrestling right now. People were mad when he came on Talk. Don't boo me. I didn't tell him to stop. But when he was on Talking Dead, people were like, you didn't even talk about wrestling. I'm like, because it's not a wrestling show. If the zombies get in a cage match, then great, we'll talk about it. But otherwise, it's pretty much just focused on Rick and the gang.
If Rick had done a suplex, then he could have, criticized it.
I would love to see a camp of pro wrestlers like in the zombie apocalypse. That would be so much fun. There's no reason they couldn't come upon some like regional wrestling guys and then just watch this total like Walker Smackdown happen with chairs and a
beyond the mat.
Yeah, and then just the Iron Sheik saying really racist things in the corner. So I want to talk a little bit about the podcast network too. Right now, Nerdist Podcast Network is 26 podcasts, but we're expanding that probably to about double in size by the end of the year. We've been trying to move and really, thank you for people. We've been really trying to move in slow, not try to blow up all at once. Everything in Nerdist kind of grew organically out of everything else. It was like a blog, and then a bunch of people contributing, and then an editor, and then a podcast, and then a bunch of podcasts, and then a YouTube channel, and then a bunch of YouTube channels, and so it's all slowly. I don't think we're growing too fast. I think we're growing at a good pace. But now that we've been able to handle 26, we kind of want to expand a little more because there's a lot of other fun stuff to do. Chobot might be working on a podcast, for instance, which maybe. Do you want to talk about that yet or no?
I mean, really quick, just to toss it out there. I mean, it's kind of a, it's with Andrew Bowser, the guy that works with me over at Nerdist News, and we're kind of trying to. I'm really into some weird stuff. Let me just put this that way.
No kidding.
Mostly like, how do I want to explain this without coming off as like a total weirdo? Ghosts, conspiracy theories, UFOs, things like that. Not necessarily saying I believe in them, I just like hearing the stories. And so what I'm trying to do is gather anybody and everybody's experiences and come on the show, and it's like a little bit of like my ghost story. Like, tell me what weird thing that you've experienced. So it's called Bizarre States, and hopefully we can get that launching sooner rather than later.
Which I think is a great idea, because when we, Liam Lynch came on, who created Syphil and Ollie, he came on the podcast and he told this really amazing ghost story from when he lived in England. And it was, I wanted it to be on our Halloween show, but the Halloween show we had scheduled was Neil deGrasse Tyson. So what you listen to is an hour of Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about science and then 15 minutes of Liam talking about ghosts, which was a really phenomenal juxtaposition of topics. But people were so floored by his story that whether or not you believe in that stuff, it's still fun to...
Exactly. It's like old campfire stories. Everybody has their own experience, whether you think that it's real or not. You know, just the fact that you went through this experience, whatever it is that happened to you, is interesting in and of itself. And so that's kind of what we're trying to talk about. FYI, the Queen Mary is haunted.
It's super haunted, right?
Yeah, I had something happen.
You did?
I did.
What?
Well, I don't want to give it away.
Oh, you don't want to give away to the podcast. All right.
But it was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't, I can't even take full credit for it. It wasn't necessarily me. It happened to Blair. I'm going to bring him up again.
Blair Herder.
Blair, he's here. But I had...
Blair Herder? Out in the audience somewhere? Oh, there.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, it happened to Blair for a quick...
Oh my God, your husband's sitting next to my girlfriend. This just got interesting.
For my birthday, he took me to an overnight on the Queen Mary, and we actually had some freaky stuff happen. I mean, and not freaky like
oh,
that.
Right.
I mean, we did. We do have a 1-year-old, but like scary, like spooky stuff, freaky dog stuff.
I don't think she saw what you did.
Yeah, no, right?
Really freaky stuff. Really freaky stuff.
And then it's like,
Mary.
Jess, I was with Blair that weekend. He was not in Long Beach.
What? Ghost stories! So, just really quick, because we're going to get to questions in about 8 minutes. But as far as the Nerdist podcast, we're going to try to do more hostful podcasts. It's really just been a scheduling issue between Matt and Joan and myself. But those are really, really, really fun to do, as much as the guested episodes. But I just want to, I never announce in advance who's going to be on the podcast, but since you all waited in line and stuff, I'll tell you a bunch of podcasts that we have coming up that I'm pretty excited about. Tomorrow, William Shatner, which I didn't know what to expect, because I never met the captain before, and he was amazing. I hope this doesn't bum anyone out, but we really didn't talk about Star Trek at all. We talked, because he's talked about, there's no more, he is boldly gone. So, we sort of talked about adulthood and what it means to take responsibility as a grown-up, and just all these interesting philosophies of living, and he was phenomenal. Such a great guy. So that's going up tomorrow. Wednesday, Lewis Black, I'm excited about. Friday, Reese Darby. Present. Not present. Jim Rash, Jim Gaffigan, Eddie Izzard, John Favreau, which was great. John Favreau actually listens to the podcast, which freaked me out. I don't know if this is going to be exciting to anyone else, but I won't record this one yet. Boy George, I went to a Culture Club concert when I was in grade school, and so we get to meet him. And then, apparently this is going to happen. We haven't recorded it yet, but I think we're going to get Tom Cruise on the podcast. Tom Cruise and I had a sit-off at San Diego last year. And it was really amazing. And afterwards I was like, and I never do this to people, I was like, will you be on my podcast? And he looked me dead in the eyes and he goes, absolutely. And then we followed up with his people, expecting him to be like, he didn't mean that. But he did, he's booked, so he apparently is coming on the podcast. So I'm very excited about that. I'll give you some midnight heads up. Jim Gaffigan will be on April 30th. May 6th, we're doing a Comedy Bang Bang panel with Scott Aukerman, James Domi, and Jerry Minor. May 7th, Mark Maron, because I did an episode of Maron, the first episode of the new season of Maron. Mark comes on Talking Dead, and it's really funny, so I don't know when that's premiering, but you should watch it. And then Rooster Teeth on May 14th. In terms of the YouTube channel, we've been focusing a lot more on Nerdist News lately, a lot of resources on that, but I do believe that it looks like we're going to be able to do another season of Neil's Puppet Dreams with Neil MPH, so that should be fun. More Neil Patrick Harris, more puppets, more songs, and then we're going to be doing more All-Star Celebrity Bowling. We also did a pilot of All-Star Celebrity Bowling for AMC, and we'll know in a couple weeks if they're going to pick it up or not. We bowled, it was me, my team was me, Tom Lennon, Nathan Fillion, and Pete Holmes versus John Hamm and Vincent Kartheiser and Jay Ferguson and Rich Sommer from Mad Men, and it was unbelievable. It was, Pete Holmes said about Vincent Kartheiser, he goes, "You look like a ventriloquist dummy." And every time Vincent would bowl, Pete would go, "If you get a strike, you get to be a real boy." And Vincent took it so well, he was so cool about it, so I hope that airs. I hope we get to see that. Let's see, I think I've covered all of the talking points that I had, so we can probably, Malik. Also want to announce that we are adding a science editor to the Nerdist.com site. It looks like it's going to be this guy named Kyle Hill, who's really great. He wrote this really wonderful article about the zombie virus in Walking Dead and tried to explain from the scientific standpoint how it's a two-step virus, and anyway, it's really cool, and he's great, and so we'll be doing stuff with him too, it looks like. But also, Kyle and Malik and Dan will probably starting to do some weekly shows, spinning off of Nerdist News, and I really just want Nerdist to be like, we aggregated stuff for so long, and that's fine. We still do some of that, but I really want it to be a news source. I really want people to say, and it's starting to happen where I'm starting to see on other sites, people are aggregating stuff that you guys are creating. Or seeing, like for movies, Dan Casey says it's sci-fi-rific or whatever, for movies.
My catchphrase.
But this was a drama, I know. So that's really my plan. In the next year, my hope is to expand Nerdist News into an actual, trusted, upbeat, friendly news outlet that gives you all the stuff that you need from that world with a bevy of fine personalities. I mean, I come from the MTV days, music television, when
they actually show music videos still.
I've been working at MTV since people were like, singled out ruined MTV. And I would be like, no, the Hills did that. Laguna Beach did that. But I think, I always loved this idea that there was this kind of like Justice League of VJs, that each had their own identity and their own point of view on stuff, and so that's, again, something else that I want to, I don't want Nerds to be just me, I want it to be a bunch of voices, and I'm there kind of piloting the ship sometimes, but everyone has the creative freedom to express themselves in exactly the way that they want, because I can't consume everything, and I don't know everything, and so it is always funny when people are like, have you read this? Have you played this? And I go, no. And they go, you're not a nerd. That's another thing. We're gonna stop the nerd on nerd violence, guys. It's not good. No one has any right to be the Supreme Court Justice of nerddom on anyone. You're not a real nerd. I'm sick of that phrase. You're not a real nerd if you use that phrase. All right, good. Now I've said it. Now I'm doing it. That makes me a hypocrite. I would like to open the floor for questions so that we have plenty of time for you guys to ask questions if there are any. Hey, how's it going? I can't, the microphone. What's your name?
Umberto.
Nice to see you, Umberto. What is your question, sir?
Okay, you are at the podium for the Men of Steel 2 announcement. You were stoked like everybody else.
Yeah.
So give us your opinion about Ben and Jesse. What's your take on that? Thank you.
What? Give me your take on what? I can't hear you, sorry.
Okay, on the casting of Ben Affleck and Jesse Eisenberg. What's your opinion?
Okay, great, sure, absolutely. My opinion is this. I think Ben Affleck will do a great job. And I say that because I haven't seen it yet. So when people go, this is another thing we have to stop doing as a collective nerd culture because it makes us look silly, is the second you hear something, you immediately go, oh, okay, what? What the F, guys? Like, you have no information. You have zero information. I remember before Iron Man came out, people were like, oh, whatever. You know, it's not like Iron Man was so on the forefront of comics at the time. It's just someone came along and made the right version of it, and it worked, great. But we didn't know that before, so I would really love to say, experience something and then react to it. I guess experience something. You know, maybe the Man of Steel and Batman won't be great, but maybe it will be great. But we just don't know. We just don't know. So let us try to experience things without trying to control them so much beforehand. It does not make us look smarter just to go, that thing's dumb. Well, what do you know about it? Nothing. Well, then you're dumb. All right. Yes. Question.
Hi. My question is for the entire panel. What's the summer movie you guys are excited for?
The summer movie I'm excited for. Well, I mean, I don't know if anyone's gonna believe me because they own us, but Godzilla looks amazing. I too was a skeptic when Thomas Tull first said to me, he's like, we're gonna do Godzilla, and I was like, oh, it hasn't really worked out great since a long time ago. It's just been a really difficult thing to capture, but I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm seeing it next week, but honestly, everything that I've seen of it looks really good. Like, and Chloe's dad, John Dykstra, did the effects for it, and I love John, and he does amazing work. And so I'm really excited to see Godzilla because I feel like if it works, it's the Godzilla movie that I've been wanting for decades to actually happen. You know, like when I was a kid watching creature features. And then you go, I mean, these are really great, and it's fun to watch Gamera fly around, but what if someone actually did this like for reals? And so that actually I'm most excited about because I'm hoping it will meet the expectations that I have. So I think it's Godzilla. What about you guys?
I would pick Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
because,
the new pal Tom Cruise.
Not just to get him on the podcast, but also because I mean he's a good actor. Despite I know that he's pretty controversial, but one, it looks like an amazing sci-fi flick, and then two, he's a great actor still. So that looks really appealing to me.
I was lucky enough to see the one I was most excited for, which was Chef.
Chef is great.
That movie is amazing.
Yeah.
So Chef.
Okay.
Most Exotic Marigold Hotel 2. But
it's still a production, Dan.
Failing that, Guardians of the Galaxy, because the fact that Marvel...
Oh, yeah, Guardians.
Yeah, they can take this batshit crazy concept of a talking raccoon and a sentient tree voiced by Vin Diesel, and it looks this good. I'm so excited. Get on board.
I mean, yeah, Guardians, when James Gunn threw all that footage together really quickly for the Comic-Con panel last year, and it looked amazing. And to me, I mean, Marvel is such an innovative company. Kevin Feige's done such amazing work that now, because a lot of people in his position would be like, we're just going to make 100 Avengers movies. But he's like, no, let's see what in the kind of the expanded Marvel universe we can develop and present to people in an exciting way. You know, exactly the same way we did with Iron Man. And so if it works, I'm super excited to see. Just the footage looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And Karen Gillan with a shaved head.
Yeah.
When she revealed that at Comic-Con last year, people went berserk.
Oh, I know. I was monitoring that panel, and she threw a wig into the audience. I'm like, that's gonna be dirty when you get it back. You shouldn't do that. It's a bad idea, Karen Gillan. What about you, Malik?
You guys kind of took mine. Guardians of the Galaxy, definitely. And Godzilla. I mean, you have Kick-Ass, Heisenberg, and Godzilla all in one movie. You can't go wrong with that. You know? Every
time I see the trailer with Cranston, he's like, you have no idea what you unleashed. I want him to go, let's cook. Like, it's just, you know, I just hear Heisenberg's voice. What about you, Ben Blacker?
Jaws, I watch it every summer.
Oh, nice. He's gonna watch Jaws.
I didn't know that was a choice, Jaws and Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm gonna watch Grand Budapest Hotel again. That was great.
Nice. Beverly, what about you? What about you, Dustin?
Can I just say that we can hear you, Ben and I, but like any answer from the panel, we're out what people are saying. It's really funny.
It's hard because all the speakers are in front of us, and so you're hearing the sound bounce across the back
So
of the
we're
room.
hearing a lot of bouncing, which means it was hard for me to steal somebody else's movie. But I'm just going to say Transformers 4 because TJ Miller's in it.
Oh, TJ Miller!
And I don't know how that's going to work.
TJ's
He doesn't turn into anything.
He's a maniac, so maybe he turns into a maniac, but I guess that's my answer, so sorry if that's disappointing.
No, the Constructicons get together to form TJ Miller. Yes, what is your name and question?
Hello. Oh, talk about adding 10 pounds. My name is Lloyd. It's good to see you at Nerdist.com and at Nerdist. There's your Instagram plug.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a picture. Just to like. So you explained that you're expanding, and so I was wondering if you were going to dip your proverbial Nerdist pen into like feature films or like a structured script or a sitcom.
No, I want to dip my pen in it, all right.
What are we talking about with your pen?
We're talking about scripts. Sexy, sexy scripts. Movies are, it's obviously a very attractive proposition to expand into feature film, especially with Legendary as our parent company. There are a couple of really potentially big TV things that we're working on now that hopefully we'll be able to announce in San Diego. But, the movie business, it's just a separate entity that I think we need a little bit of guidance for. I think part of the way that I'm trying not to screw all this up is by not trying to do too many things at once or not rush into things. I mean, we experimented a little bit last year with feature film distribution with Zero Charisma, which is a great movie if you haven't seen it. Really, really well done.
Out now on DVD.
Now on DVD. But the movie process is so, like, television moves glacially. Like, it took 2 years for At Midnight to get on the air, right? And film, it can be like 4 or 5 years. So, we're starting to have those conversations now. It would be really great. But film doesn't necessarily work the way that you think it would, where you go, because I would always be like, well, instead of spending $20 million on one movie, why don't you just spend $1 million and make 20 movies for $1 million but it doesn't really work that way, because with marketing and everything, it just, a $1 million movie actually ends up being like a $25 million movie. So, I don't know, we're talking about it, but I don't want to rush into it so we don't put out something crappy just to put out something, But yes, it's something, and my brain is drifting in that direction. Yeah. I would love to do The Greatest American Hero. The rights to that we had William Catt on the podcast. I have the suit. So that means I should get to make the movie. But I don't know what's happening with it. I don't know. That Greatest American Hero, but I feel like whenever I say Greatest American Hero, there's only like 5 out of 1,000 people that know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you go, believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Never thought I could feel so right. You have a question? Fly away.
Hi, my name is Danny.
Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's Danny. I knew I was going to sing with you one day.
So 5 years ago, when I was in Korea, my cousin showed me this StarCraft tournament on TV. And so the winner of the tournament was actually getting showered by underwear from his fans. So it was basically just dropping out of there. So it got so basically my question is, do you think American esports will ever get as big as it is in Korea?
Esports?
Are you asking me to get showered by everyone?
You just want people to throw I think esports is pretty big here, actually. I know that, didn't they sell out a couple of days at the Staples Center?
Yeah, League of Legends did.
Yeah, esports is pretty big here. I think it doesn't get a lot of mainstream coverage, but because of the audience for it, it doesn't really need mainstream coverage. It's pretty big.
That's what Twitch TV's for.
I also think our relationship with getting underwear showered on us was much different than in
We didn't get that, yeah. I was playing League of Legends for a little while and getting stomped.
Yeah, I tried it.
Stop cheating.
Yeah, and then I just went back to Stick of Truth. which is amazing. You honestly should play Stick of Truth if you're over the age of 18. It's a very adult game. Some of the things that happened, I had to stop and just sort of describe them.
I actually spent at least an hour killing all of the parking meters, not realizing that they respawn.
Yeah, they respawn every time. Yeah, they respawn.
Back out, and all of a sudden they were all back on screens.
You seem to be a bottle of sriracha?
Yes.
Good. What sort of a spicy question do you have for us today?
I'm wondering, what are your feelings about a potential Deadpool movie? Also, can I have a hug?
Can you have a hug? Sure. As far as Deadpool movie, great. I think that would be awesome. Jerry Duggan writes Deadpool, and I mean, he's great. I mean, I don't, if you're saying, would I do it? Sure. It doesn't mean that someone's gonna let me. My mom used to tell me all the time, like, you should be on that Frasier show. I'm like, great, I'll just tell them that you said that. And in classic nerd fashion, bring a note from my mom. Yeah, come on up to the barrier, and I'll...
As far as I know, a Deadpool movie is in development. There is a script out there, and they are looking to do more solo standalone stuff, but nothing has been officially confirmed. But I'd say it's very likely to happen in the future, especially given how popular Deadpool is.
Careful, don't squeeze too hard, it might squirt. Sriracha and the burrito. Together at last.
I love that he has a little bit of extra sriracha on the top. Really true to form.
Gives it verisimilitude.
If you guys didn't notice, Chris's shirt says squirrel, squirrel, squirrel.
Squirrels, squirrels, squirrels. At the tree house, What is your name, madam?
Hi, my name is Amy. I about a year ago found your podcast listening to Matt Smith and David Tennant when you interviewed him. Loved it, by the way.
Oh, they were great, yeah.
I actually, funny story, I was listening to it and I had just gone through Del Taco and gotten my burrito and it was finishing and you said, enjoy your burrito. I was like, oh my gosh, he knows I'm eating.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering, where did that come from, the enjoy your burrito?
Oh, you can hear the origin of it. I think it's episode 10 maybe, but it's the first one with Rainn Wilson. Its origin is Jonah Ray. That Jonah told this story about how when Rainn's a very philosophical guy. He's a really interesting guy. And so we were talking about dissatisfaction. And Jonah said when he first moved to Los Angeles, he lived in San Pedro. And it's a harbor part of Los Angeles most people don't even know is there. And so he said he used to eat at this taco shack every day. And his life was really crappy. He had no money, he didn't know anyone, he had moved out from Hawaii, I guess. And so he said the best part of his day was eating this one really great burrito. And he would get halfway through it and he would start to get depressed because he knew the burrito was about to be done and then his life was going to be sucky again. And so he said it wasn't until he learned to enjoy the burrito as it was happening that it took a lot of weight off his shoulders. And so at the end of that episode, we just sort of said as a sign-off like, all right, enjoy your burrito. In other words, it basically is a metaphor for don't focus too much on the past or the future, just focus on the present and enjoy the process as it's happening. So that's ultimately what that means. You can hear that in episode 10, I think. I think it's 10, yeah. It's whichever the first one, Rainn Wilson is, it's that one. It's the one where it's the one where Matt Myra's real personality started creeping out because in the first 5 minutes of the podcast, Matt said to Rainn, I stopped watching 6 Feet Under when you came on. We were like, oh, Matt. Why would you say that? Guess what? By the way, Matt Myra has lost 80 pounds. He looks amazing. If you haven't seen him.
He came into the office, looked me in the face, talked to me for 2 minutes, had no idea who it was.
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh,
jeez. Was that because he was smiling? All right, yes, what is your name in question?
Hi there, I'm Cindy, and pretty big Nerdist fan. I hang out with lots and lots of nerds, but I don't have the capability to retain everything. So thank you for having Nerdist Industries where I can go and get the information and stay up to date and know what the heck my friends are talking about. My question is, do you have any plans for more swag? Like I had to make my own Nerdist logo for my bag.
I'm afraid I might have to confiscate that.
You can take it from my cold dead fingers.
Yes, no. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we are creating more merch. I didn't do it for a long time because I didn't want to. It's the same reason that I never made a Nerdist app. Where people were like, "How can you be a company called Nerdist and not have an app?" And I would say, "Well, because I don't have the resources to make it good, and I don't want to make something just to make something." So for merch, I didn't want to just make crappy stuff. We would make them in short bursts as special. Like if you see a Nerdist shirt anywhere, that was just part of a limited offering. But we have been partnering with a lady named Ashley Eckstein for a company called Her Universe, which is great. And so we're going to start launching a bunch of merch, and we're also talking to Think Geek about making stuff, and then Hot Topic as well. I was a little hesitant at first about putting stuff in a store, but I met with Hot Topic, and they were really great, like genuinely good people. And that's the only reason that I work with anyone now is because I like them, and I think they have good ideas. I'm at this really great place where I don't have to do anything I don't want to. So if you see me hosting something, it's because I wanted to. If you see us making something, it's because it sounded like fun. And Hot Topic people were really nice, so we made this shirt for Pi Day. And then...
Show 'em, man.
And then so we're... Oh yeah, there it is. The irrational. Irrational number cannot be expressed in the fraction. And so we're going to make more stuff with all these different people and companies, and and so we will have more Nerdist swag, so that you will not be forced to make your own. Although that your bag looks very cool. So, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, sir. Shaun of the Dead.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'd like to ask everybody, what is your favorite zombie movie and why? And are you thinking about doing any kind of web series, where you kill everybody off every episode?
Do you mean like a snuff film?
With zombies, it's different.
Oh, okay, you meant zombies. I thought you were like...
Yeah, you get like a card.
People on YouTube?
Special episode of Nerdist News.
Welcome to Nerdist News. I don't know. What's your what are your favorite zombie movies?
I always liked, and I don't know how many people know this one, but Cemetery Man.
Oh yeah, with Rupert Everett. Yeah.
Yeah, I always liked that one. Everett movies, and I was like, yes.
I'm a traditionalist. The Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Snyder did a great job with the remake.
I did like the remake too.
Yeah, the remake was really good, but that original one was saying so much more than just a zombie movie about culture, the economy. So yeah, original Dawn of the Dead.
It's not necessarily the best movie around, but Zombie 2, because a zombie fights a shark underwater. That's it.
Mine is not a movie yet. It's being made into a movie. It's actually a video game right now. It's not necessarily about zombies. Anybody heard of The Last of Us? Yeah. We're gonna make it into a movie, and I imagine if it's anywhere close to the game, then it's probably gonna be my favorite movie.
Terrifying.
My favorite zombie movie is Keeping Up with the Kardashians. they seem so animated. Don't let them bite you though. Ben.
Jaws. I'm not sure what a zombie is.
Okay.
The Birds is a good one, and Shaun of the Dead, obviously, and I like Devil Eye.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so
I was going to support that as well. I love that one.
That lawnmower scene is the best thing in the world.
I think I gotta go. Do you have one, Jocelyn?
No.
Okay. I think I gotta go Shaun of the Dead as well, because it took, and it's, I feel the reason we haven't really made any zombie stuff yet is because I sort of feel weird about it, because I'm like, there's so much zombie stuff, and Walking Dead doing it so well, and I just don't know, if I could put a spin on it.
I mean, Blood and Guts is pretty rad.
Huh?
Blood and Guts is pretty cool if you want to see like behind the scenes how the effects
Yeah, with
happen.
Scott Ian.
Yeah.
And Zombie Karen Gillan.
Zombie Karen Gillan happened for the Nerdist TV show last year on BBC America. Yeah, Blood and Guts is really fun. So Scott Ian basically will go around to guys like Tom Savini and Greg Nicotero and he'll interview them about themselves, and then throughout the course of the interview, some horrible thing will happen. Some horrible stunt, like a knife will come out of the screen, out of the side of the screen, and just embed in his face. And then the second part of the episode is showing how the effect was done. So that's a fun thing to do on the YouTube channel. Yes, what is your name in question?
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I was just wanting to ask for all the people who prank their DSs like you, does your character look anything like you, and if not, what's your street pass name?
It does, yeah, my character does look exactly like me. He looks, I just street passed my own girlfriend. We keep running into each other. Yeah, it does look like me, and it is, I'm pretty sure it's just my name. So, there I am, I'm wearing a blue shirt, right there.
You guys haven't seen this, but he's been playing this every time he hasn't had to talk the whole panel.
It's really upsetting to date a girl who's younger than I am, and then I'm meeting her in Street Pass, and her quote is, "My dream for the future is to grow up big." What is that, Chloe? I hope you grow up big one day, too. So, no, not points. Not points. Got some points. Yes,
Hello, I'm Kenneth, and Chris, have you ever played Telltale Games, The Walking Dead?
Yes, I have played a bit of Telltale Games, The Walking Dead, and I wonder if I can...
I can feel Dan Casey
I might be... Oh, I don't know
Do
if I'm allowed to
it.
announce
Do it,
that.
Chris. I know what you're thinking about saying. Do it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to announce it, though.
Well, at least say that you're doing a voice in a game.
I'm doing a voice in a game for Telltale. I just don't know if I'm allowed to say yet what it is. But it's fun. It's what?
Spoiler.
No, well, yeah, spoiler, sure, but it's just news.
Chris Hardwick isn't going to be in the game. He's doing a voice in the game.
A voice in a game. It's part of an existing series. It's so funny that people just need to control the experience of how they get that information. You're either going to find out now or in like a week. But so yes, I love Telltale and the Walking Dead game, and I'll be in another one that I don't know if I can say yet. Yes.
Hi, my name is Miranda. You have met so many famous actors, actresses, comedians, but who has been the one person that's been on your TV or podcast that you just can't believe you've met before?
Oh my God, I can't. That happens to me so much of the time that I can't believe people who say yes to the podcast. I mean, the fact that we got Tom Hanks twice was pretty crazy to me. John Lithgow was really cool. Joan Rivers, Lily Tomlin, like, it's usually comedy people. Mel Brooks, I couldn't believe we got on. I'm still surprised that Tom Cruise might come on the podcast. Because people are, I mean, for the longest time, I was basically just pitching to people. Like, it's a podcast, it's like a radio show, but it's not on the radio. And, but now people are pitching to us. Like, Eddie Izzard's coming on next week because his people asked if he could come on. I'm like, yeah. So, honestly, most of the people that come on, I can't believe we were able to get on. It still trips me out a lot. Yes, well, I think we have time for like one or two more questions. I might show a video at the end. I don't know if I should. Should I show the Jones thing?
Yeah. Well, this is the only place they're going to get to see
I'll
it.
take one more question, then, okay, I'll take one more question, then we'll end the panel with a video. We made a video with Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols, Jonesy. We made a video called Game of Jones where he just musically recaps seasons of Game of Thrones. And then we foolishly, for some reason, sent it to HBO and they're like, hey, what do you think of this? And they were like, oh, you can't do that. And so, because then we had used footage from the show in the recap and then they said we couldn't put it up. So, this is the only place you'll ever be able to see it. So, and it's fun, it's entertaining, and I think we'll show you his season. He does a song for every season. So we'll show you the season 3 recap, and that will end the panel. But yes, what is your last question?
Hi, my name is Tatiana, and it's just a random programming question. I was a real huge fan of 4 Points. Is that going to return at some point?
4 Points? 4 Points was a fun show to do, but it was really expensive. When we first started the YouTube channel, we were making stuff like we were a TV network, And so we were just blowing through all this money, and we built this elaborate set, and then we quickly realized, like, we're gonna run out of money. And so I always loved 4 Points, but it didn't, it was difficult because of the viewership to justify the incredible expense that it was to put that show on. So if we can find a more economical way to do it, and people really want it, we'll certainly bring it back and make it, because I really liked it a lot. I loved Alex Albrecht, and it was a fun show to do. So I apologize for crushing your 4 Points dreams. But I think we're just gonna say thank you now, and then we'll roll the Game of Jones thing. But thank you so much for coming out to the Nerdist panel. It's been amazing this year. I'm doing the signing at 2 o'clock at the Nerdist booth. But please help me thank Jessica Chobot, Brian Walton, Dan Casey, Malik Forte, Ben Blocker, Ben Acker, Jocelyn Hughes. Oh, sure. And I see I dropped that. I didn't catch it. Like Chloe said one time, she was like, well, they don't call you the sportist.
It's because nobody said book or catch.
Book or catch! Got it. People left a lot of coins and floor food in Colombia. But thank you so much for coming out, and we're going to end it with Game of Jones. And please do the Facebook thing. I hate saying like us on Facebook because that sounds really weird. Will you like me? But like us. Instagram, Nerdist.com, and Nerdist News on Twitter, and then all these folks have their own individual Twitter accounts. But we were only able to do this and be here because of your guys' support, and I really humbly appreciate it. Thank you so much, you guys. Here's Game of Jones.